It is Friday, August the 18th. Welcome back.
Thank you.
You
Thank
got
you.
back in last night, I assume, yesterday afternoon?
Yesterday afternoon. I tell you what, if you're going to fly, and you would know this, if you're going to fly early.
Got to go early.
And avoid as many connections as possible.
Yes, like a disease.
Yes. People are traveling. EJ asked me this morning, did I notice people traveling? And the answer is yes. People are still out, still going, and still traveling. And you sense as you go through the day and you're traveling, the pressure mounting on the system.
Absolutely. Well, then you tack on that you've got thunderstorms in most of the major cities in the afternoon. So that's going to cause some real problems in the Atlantas and the Dallases and the Chicagos of the world.
It is a little unusual to be laying in bed in Jackson, Wyoming. They refer to it as Jackson. Some say Jackson Hole. The proper is Jackson, I was told. Mm-hmm. But to Jackson Hole, so you know where I was. And you get up and you just browsing through news and you read about an earthquake in Greensboro, North Carolina.
That was news to me too. So
you didn't know
I slept right through whatever that was.
You had an earthquake. Well,
did not.
We read about it and glad to know everybody's okay. But
didn't even know that happened.
Yeah, it was a grand trip, and appreciate our office here and everybody filling in for me, and glad to be back. Glad to be back home. I did not intentionally stay plugged into a lot of things. A vacation is a vacation, and I was taking Christy and some friends on a birthday trip for Christy. This was her treat for 65 years young.
You know what is really scary?
What?
Is that I remember distinctly her birthday when she turned 40.
40, yes.
Because we had a big night that night.
Well,
that's 25 years if my math is right.
That's right. So you can, we've matured. We didn't go that
well, we can't talk about that on this particular.
But anyway, the only thing that I did do every morning that was interesting to me, that pattern where the market was, I looked at Bitcoin every morning. Mm-hmm. And every morning, Bitcoin, in the 15 minutes I turned Squawk Box on that I like to see, I kept seeing red and I kept seeing it drop, and I kept knowing then that the market was falling this week.
Yeah, and usually if the market's falling, Bitcoin is falling at about 3 times the speed.
Right.
And so it kind of takes us into where we are right now. I think if today follows through with how it's open, we're 4 days into losing. Some losing days, and that doesn't surprise me in the least.
You aren't surprised about it. I would say you had your crystal ball out and polished it and looked into it, and you were spot on.
It doesn't make me right. It just makes me right for the last 4 days. But it could be the beginning of what we've been anticipating, which is just the market to drag and to drag downward. And that's sort of where we are, if for no other reason other than all the economic reasons that we've discussed over the last 6 to 8 months. It's the summer.
Yes.
And the summer, even when in a perfect summer, usually it has some doldrums.
Well, next week is back to school. So it'll be interesting to see August, September spending. And where
the back to school sales were really good.
Okay.
So you were out of the loop for that. But yeah, back to school sales were very good. A nice little rally in the last week when people before they went back to school.
So that could be an indicator of some sort of
It's usually an indicator for Christmas.
Right.
So if it's a great back to school season, which I don't think they're predicting, I think they're just predicting a decent one that usually sets up well for Christmas.
Well, one of the things that I saw this morning and getting plugged back in and beginning turning the brain on is Britain's 10-year, what is equivalent to our 10-year Treasury, is at 4.76. And I noticed this morning we're in the low 4s. But there was a lot of conversation this week about the 10-year Treasury note and its rising in yield. I couldn't help but wonder if we in the United States got up to as high as 4.76 or even push, and I doubt we would, 5%
On a 10-year?
On a 10-year. If that wouldn't be a precursor that people would just come out of the market and begin to lock down that type of rate for that long.
And that's why when you see discussions on things like Squawk Box, when interest rates, which have been mostly on the short term, are up so drastically, why they worry about what that's going to do to technology stocks, because that the most risky of the stocks are technology stocks, right?
Right.
So when you have when you risk off your portfolio, when you say, you know what, I'm just not going to take any risk, you then get out of those tech stocks and you start buying treasury bills that are paying over 5% because you're taking no risk, really. So that's one of the concerns that we may see this summer, is that if it continues to inch up on the long end, that you'll see more and more people flocking towards 2 and 10-year treasuries.
Well, if we then take what you have saw happening and what we said potentially would happen with a drop in the market, and there would be an opportunity to buy, and then if you look at what I saw this week, consumers still spending, it will be an interesting next couple of weeks to walk through. And what we do each and every week and each and every day, we take that data and then we give you our ideas and we manage your money from that perspective.
Absolutely.
So we do it. We're glad to be back. Glad for the team that did such a great job here. Thank you for you. And always remember, it is your money.
And your money matters. Have a great weekend, everyone. Be safe, and we'll see you next week.